Today, everyone, we're not playing Magic. No, that's on the main channel. You're on the second channel now. And also we're waiting for Kaldheim, by the way. No, today we're continuing in the development of this amazing game, which I don't have a name for yet. I think this is Devlog number 9, something like that. And today, there's a lot to talk about, honestly. A lot to talk about. So let's just jump into Unity. And I'm just gonna freebase this. I know that I did a lot of editing in the last devlog, and there's not gonna be that much editing in this devlog. Instead, there's going to be a lot of me talking. Weird stuffs, maybe. We'll see. Here I am, upside down, in Unity. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I think we jump into the game, and then I'll just freebase this entire thing. See how it goes. I hope it's not too annoying if I'm sitting up here. The reason I'm sitting up here is I think it's more obtrusive if I'm anywhere else on the screen. I think this is the best place to be in life. So, so a lot of changes here. First, as you can see, the interface quite changed, I would say. So before I had a more, should we say, colorful interface, and then I went and checked out how everyone else had done their interfaces, and they usually stick to something called a color palette. And I guess that's a better way of doing things, I don't know. So they use less colors, and that makes it look more attractive. That's cool. So that's why I'm doing that. So I'm sticking to very few colors. I'm sticking to this very dark color. It's a little bit difficult even to see exactly the contours of the interface here. Because I'm sticking to very few colors. I'm sticking to essentially black, white, and some red. And there's also some yellowish there in the interface. So that's new, the interface. We're not gonna do too many abilities now because many of them are bugged up, because I've also changed, of course, the entire item system is going to be completely different also. So, and also, I don't know if you remember, if you saw the last, I don't think I talked about it in the last devlog, but in the devlog before that, I used to have like turn counters and stuff like that, and my plan is just to remove that. And I know that this would make it so that this doesn't make any sense. Action cost 1 full action. By the way, all of the interface, these are also changed. And will probably change many times more, but this is what we got going so far. So, basic attack here says action cost 1 full action. There are no full actions anymore in the game. Well, there's not going to be any full actions in the game. So that's why we don't need the turn counters. Before, how it worked is that you could get extra turns on your turn, but then I realized that's just way too complicated. I'm already doing complicated stuff with this game. I don't need to have abilities which give you extra turn. I was thinking of maybe having a potion of haste or something, giving you an extra turn, or some kind of action that could give you another action and stuff like that, but that's just way too complicated. We're not gonna do that. So that's why those are gone, and that makes the interface a lot cleaner, I feel like. I also listened to your feedback. I don't know who you were, but someone wrote in the comment section a couple of videos ago, I think, that the skill bar was a little bit unnecessarily long. I think it was like this length before. You had like 14 slots or something. And that's sweet, I guess, to have 14 slots. But I think what I'll do, I think I'll have 6 slots here. And if people want more slots for skills, and then I had a little arrow here, and then you can just extend it out to 14 slots if you want to. But it's otherwise good that it's this short, because we also have this new thing. The inventory is also, of course, redone completely. By the way, you can ignore these like health, weapon damage. These don't, these are not rigged or anything. These are not corresponding to real numbers, what I'm trying to say. These will be updated later, and also this, of course, will be the actual, oh, now I need to move myself away. This will be the actual character model. It's not just supposed to be a static model here. But this is also to show off a little bit, because I've also, man, I've done a lot of things. I got a lot of things done. I've also made 3 armor sets to the game. Before we only had 1, and that was a really shitty one, because I didn't bake the normal maps correctly and everything looked crap. So now I've redone all the armors also in the game. We only have 3 sets so far, but I mean, we don't even have a functioning game, so I don't think we need more than 3 sets. 3 sets is a little bit overkill. So you can see how a fully geared character could look on this, how to say it, the first act or the first part of the game. You might look something like this. And what's so cool, I think, about this system, which it's a little bit, it's very similar to the system we had before, but now you can add things which are called sockets. That's something we didn't have before. So for instance, you can have a helm drop, and this helm can have slots inside it where you can add things into it. As for instance, this helm that this guy is wearing right now, we can see if we can find one of those later on. When it drops, it has a socket slot for candles. And later on, you will be able to search these candle holders also for enchanted candles or magic candles, something like that. And then you'll be able to equip candles also. You are already able to equip the candles, but there's no... all the drops are just super random right now. And so we will see what we'll find. Maybe I can also start talking about that. So, before there wasn't anything dropping anything, except for I did just to try out items. I had a class which could just spawn a lot of items in one place. But now I've redone that entire thing also. So instead what it does, what's gonna happen here is there are a lot of objects in every room, and every such object now has a drop table. But the drop table is not super good right now because it just randomizes an item and gives you that item. But later on, of course, every specific, like an urn for instance, will have a lower drop chance than, for instance, a coffin that I have. This should probably name sarcophagus or something like that. Anywho, these will have like lower drop chances, maybe the urns, and these will have higher drop chances. But now everything is just equal, and everything always drops in one item. But that's just to try out, of course, the system. If I click on the coffin here, you can see that it dropped an item, and it's gonna drop a novice's leg plate, which we unfortunately can't equip. But you can see also that this art is also, of course, redone. The entire frame for the item, so it looks a little bit more. I know it looks very much Diablo 4, if you've seen it, because I've been very much inspired by. I just thought that it looked really sweet. The thing that you get when you hover over an item in Diablo 4. Even though I'm not super sold maybe on the game so far, maybe that's gonna be a separate video where I talk about my thoughts on Diablo 4. And also, when you hover over an item, everything now I've standardized, because I realized the thing with the interface and how things look and how it looks when you hover over something, it needs to be consistent, I feel like. Like, before I had different colors depending on what you hovered over and different shaders. Now there's just one shader, which is just selection. The selection shader. If you've selected something, it has this shade. It's just a white color, but it's very easy because now you understand that, okay, this means interact with. This becomes highlighted, becomes white, right? So it's also the same color as this movement marker, and if I hover over a door now, also, it highlights the door, and it highlights, there's like an arrow that shows you where you're gonna go, and it's gonna open a door. So before, when you clicked on a door and you weren't close enough, nothing happened. So it was just, okay, I don't know why I can't open this door. I guess you could figure out that you need to stand next to the door to open it, but now it makes it very, very clear that if I want to open this door, this is gonna move me all the way over here and open the door. So if I click now on the door, it's gonna walk there and open the door. And then when I'm just next to it, we don't need all these arrows and everything. So it's just close door and it closes. And the same for items also. So like before, you could pick up items from anywhere on the map, which is a little bit, I don't know, not so cool maybe. So instead, you need to be next to the item to pick up the item. Or standing on top of it, essentially. And to not make this super annoying, so that you have to go here and then click on something under you, instead what I made it do is that it moves to this square. It knows every item which square it's on. And if you hover over it, or if you click on it, it's going to move you to that square and also pick up the item. So if I click on this item, it's going to put this on my mouse pointer. Unfortunately, I don't have anywhere to put it. Also, we can see that there's a new... When you drop an item now, there's a little bit of a bloop, bloop, which is taken very much from Diablo 2. I really like that. I really like the sound effects. I don't know, if I could get something similar to the Diablo 2 sound effects, like it's just, the sound in Diablo 2 is just, it's unmatched, I feel like. It's unmatched still. The music is really good, but I also think the effects of like when items and stuff drop in Diablo 2 is superior to any other game. It's just the perfect sound design in that game. But that's gonna be later when there's no sound, but game. That's going to be later. There's a lot to do. So I can also click this search urn, and it will pop out a visor, which we also can't use because we don't have anywhere to put it. But of course, visors are put on helm, so you can find a helm, and then you can find any visor put on it. So that's a little bit cool. So if I also just wanted to show you that this, of course, works with these containers also, as I call them. So if I'm not close enough to loot this urn, it will show me where the closest position is to the position where I can loot the urn from. And then, of course, if I click, it's gonna loot. And also there's a little bit of a cloud. Oh, this we can actually equip. By the way, it says main attribute 12 armor and stuff like that. These are just, you know, placeholder text. There's like nothing happens. It doesn't give 12 armor, and everything gives 12 armor. It's just something that I put there to see how it looks. I haven't decided exactly what the items are gonna give. I'm thinking though that since you're gonna get a lot of items, I'm gonna show that later on today. There are items. Now this item doesn't give any slots, unfortunately. Let's try and hope to find an item because these are all super random. We can pick up a shield there just to see how it looks. Show you how it looks. See you. See you how it looks. Perfect English, Chris. You're doing great. Don't worry about it. Okay. No. Okay. That's unfortunate. Oh, this thing gives some slots. So we can put in the arm chain. Right here we can see that this gives 2 slots. It gives you a plate hand slot and a arm plate slot. I think it says, oh, unknown slot name, hand plate. Okay, so I'm almost there with the with the naming. If I haven't set a name yet, it just says unknown slot name. It says unknown slot name if you're wondering. So this item can give slots, of course, and these things which you put into the item can give 4 slots. So you can have in the late game maybe 100 or so items to equip. That's why I've also went for a different design here on this interface. Before, the item icons were quite ginormous, but the problem is if you're gonna equip like 100 items here and they're all very big, then you're gonna have to scroll a lot. You're still gonna have to scroll a little bit because I just wanted this cool thing up here so that you can see how you look, right? It's important. But that made it so this thing became half size. We'll see if I make this window a little bit, either a little bit smaller, or I might move this thing here, but then it's gonna block the game view here. We'll see how I do it in the future. But yeah, that's why everything is smaller now, so you can see. So these things, you might not... It's not super intuitive to understand. It's actually the same system here that it was before, but since all the icons are changed, it might not be easy to understand how this works. So these are slots, as you can see here. So we can equip something on our head, on our body, and you can see a little bit of some contours, how it, where to put things. So I have some kind of idea. Also, when you have this and you hover over a slot, it's gonna be red where you can't put it, and here you can put it, so it's not red. So it makes it a little bit easier to know where to equip things. Where to equip. So these are slots, and of course item can give slots, and you start off with a certain amount of slots. So you start off with head, chest, arm, upper legs, lower legs. Now it's just feet. I know my own game. And then you have a weapon slot, a shield slot, and a belt slot. That's slots you start off with, and then you add more items, and the items gives more and more and more slots. That's how it works. And so you don't... I'm thinking how you're gonna progress in the game. I think how you're gonna progress is that, of course, you find better items, but they're not gonna be better just by having better stats in most cases. They're gonna be better because they allow you... This is my dream. I haven't created this system yet, but I'm hoping that these items can be better because they allow you more opportunities for creativity on how you can combine other items. Maybe they have a lot more slots. Maybe the item is even weaker than the items you found earlier, but you have so many slots in it that can make a more powerful item if you assemble everything that you need to put in every slot and stuff like that. So that's the idea. Also, as you can see, it's very much darker. I've actually fixed the colors. I spent half a day or something, just tweaking the colors, tweaking the reflection probes. There was a problem with the reflection probes. Also, the post-processing effects were not really well done, honestly. So what I've done before is that I had way too much fog. There's a little bit of fog left. I might even remove that fog because it looks a little bit weird, but it's a little bit highlighted over here. And also you can see search urn. Maybe I shouldn't... maybe it's fine to show search urn. This is just because there is an urn in this room very, very far away. It shows this. Anywho, so I tweaked all these settings, and also now over the character there's a point light following you because everything is a little bit darker now. Before I had the post-processing effect giving you like plus, I think it was at +2 post-exposure, and that made everything look like super how should I say, what was English, Chris, English, oh English. Oh wow, I pressed a million buttons. I should say, it's too bright, and everything like washed. The colors were too wishy-washy into each other. Didn't look good. So now that's tweaked. And as I said, the point light over the character. Is that like everything I've added? There's probably more that I can't really think about now. Yeah, I wanted to show you the slots. Maybe we'll talk about that. But yeah, also, there's insects on the ground. That's another thing. That's something I'm working on right now. These are drawn with... there is a function in Unity called draw instance, something like that. If you're using a mesh which has very few vertices, you can draw, like as you can see here, there's like 200 of these insects running around there. And so I have a function which on the fixed update moves around a lot of insects, as I call them. These look like... Actually, these insects look a little bit better than they should be. If you're close at these, you see how low poly these are. These are just 20 triangle models, but they look really good from afar. And I think that's also because of the post-processing has some anti-aliasing. So when they move like this, because of the anti-aliasing, it looks like they like kind of wiggle. Like a real insect wiggles. I think. Man, I'm scatterbrained, by the way. So what? Yeah. The slots. Let's create something which spawns us a lot of slots so that we can see. Let's see here. So many things, Chris, in your project. How do you keep track of it? I've tried to organize everything in a good way, but I just forget where I put things. It's the only problem. The only problem with my brain is I forget things. But when I don't forget things, we're pretty great. So here we have a spawner. Let's see where we can spawn it. Chainmail. Oh, but it's pretty good. It's actually kind of exactly... Oh, but it doesn't have a room connected to it. We'll put it in room 1. And now we're gonna spawn... Let's see, a chainmail, a shield 1, a... Hopefully this is gonna work. Let's see if it crashes. Hopefully it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. But I've been really happy with... Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Spawn everything. Good. Now we can also see how it spawns items. Of course. Of course there's a bug. This horn was supposed to be here. So I wanted to show that off also. So when something drops on a square, there are 9 slots where the item can drop. As you can see, there's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 slots here where they can spawn or where they can drop. And then if you drop another item on top, it should spawn a little bit higher up. So you can just stack things on top, however high you want. Maybe there should be a limit to that or something. Or maybe it should spill over to another square or something. But that was supposed to be the system. I thought it worked, but here you can see that these 2 items are spawned on the same slot. So that didn't work. Anyways, we're gonna pick up this chainmail here. I thought. No, why not? Why are you bugged? Okay, this works now. Ah, okay, the item from the spawners for some reason doesn't work. Okay, we can see at least what's in there. You can see that this chainmail has 4 slots. And so it's gonna give 4 slots, and in one of those slots, of course, we have a shoulder slot. And that shoulder slot, we can put in Demon Hunter's shoulders. And Demon Hunter's shoulders can equip 8 different horns on it. So that's what I wanted to show, that you can put on the shoulders and you can put the horns inside of the shoulders so that they stick out. And it looks pretty cool. So I wanted to show that, but now I can't. But yeah, so that gives you an idea of how many items you can have, because all these items can have things inside of them. And the idea behind these items, now they don't have any attributes or anything, but the idea behind these items are that these items should not be in like Diablo, that they give, I don't know, 50 attack and 100 defense and I don't know, 50 life or something. Instead, what I want these items to have, it's my idea right now at least, is that they boost the main item or they boost another item or something, that different items boost each other. So that, for instance, if I have these shoulders, for instance, let's say, just an example here, this Demon Hunter's shoulders gives 40 armor or something. And then whenever you equip a horn, the horn might have increased armor that it's slotted into, the item that it's slotted into, by a percentage, 30% or something, 20%. So if you have all these horns, it's gonna have, I don't know, 100 armor. Math impossible, like 100 armor, something like that. That's a very simple example, just using armor, but it's something where like the items interact with each other. Man, I really want to show you how this looks when you put all this on, but okay, frack bugged. Okay, well this, okay, can we just randomly find, oh, here's a cool item. So this has slots for candles. We could just be lucky and find a candle, that would be so amazing. Okay, leg chain, put that on. It's not gonna be this easy, by the way, to find items later on. It's just now it drops like crazy. There's a maze also, by the way, in the game. Let's see what we can find here. Okay, we don't have anything we can equip that on. Oh, come on, can't you just randomly find a candle here? That would be, oh, so belt. Well, there's a lot of items in the game, so I guess the chance is very low. Okay, we can see this at least. So now if we have this helm here, and we have a visor, and we equip, of course, visor on the helm, then you can see it. It's a little bit difficult to see though, his face. A little bit dark, but you can see that there's his face, and now this is blocking the face. And then there's, of course, different visors, and they look cool. Like this thing I think looked pretty cool with the mask thing there. But yeah, too sad that this didn't work, but that will be fixed for next time. Next thing I'm gonna work on for next time is going to be the insects. Yeah, the insects. I was talking about the insects. By the way, let's have a look at how the insects look when there's more of them. Now I think there's like 200 or something. I could increase this, and doesn't have much effect on the performance. Reason being, we are calling a function called mesh instance, draw mesh instance, something like that. And that thing is very, very performant, because it's just one draw call to draw the entire thing, which is quite amazing, I must say. Quite amazing. So if you haven't checked out draw meshed instance, check it out. It's really good. I think you can only have 200 vertices or something. There's like a limit for how many vertices you can have on the mesh that you draw, but it does it like this. Instead, if I didn't do it like this, it would be a lot of draw calls. I don't know exactly how many. Well, it would be one for every object. So it would be like 1,000 extra draw calls if you do this. And if you also have the shadows, I have disabled shadows though on these insects, because the shadows, I've compared the difference between having shadows on them and not having shadows, and it's essentially impossible to see because they're so small. So there are no shadows. But we can try 1,000 insects just to see how it looks, and see that there's also like no difference in performance. You can also see if you look at the stats here, set Pascals like 130 batches, 130. If this was not a draw meshed instance, this would of course say like 1,000 batches and 1,000 draw calls, and the performance would be absolute shice. But now it's not. So how do these insects work? Maybe we should. Maybe that's gonna be the next video. That's gonna be the next video. There's just a few things I can talk about now. What I want to do with these insects is I want them to. Wow, batches 10,000. Anyways, what I want to do with these things is now all they do is they move in a direction and then they randomly rotate with a random rotation speed. So they just derp around in different directions, and then they can of course climb on top of the bricks. So if there's a brick here, it climbs, and before I had the same speed when they climbed as when they moved normally, but that made it look super weird because then they were just going too fast. So I have a modifier for climbing, so when they are climbing their speed is lower than when they're not climbing. And you can set the scale, we can set the amount, stuff like that, rotation speed. But I also want this to be affected by the player. So if we walk somewhere, for instance, I want the insects to run away from the player. And if they can't run away from the player, if you hit one with your foot, I don't know if I will have time to implement this, but it would be really cool if you hit one with your foot like in Diablo 2. Again, Diablo 2, we're coming back to Diablo 2. When you hit one, when you step on one, hit one. Chris, English. When you step on one with your foot, it would be cool if you get smooshed and there's like some splatter of that thing. Would be cool, but that's gonna be for man, 26 minutes, really? Time? Okay. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. See you next time. Hello, Daniel! And you are? It's me, the YouTube algorithm. And what are you doing here? I'm just here to take some views. No, those are my views. Oh, I can explain to you, senor. You see, you have subs 0% and non-subs 100%. That's why you can take all your views. I guess it's time that you check out the little thing down there.